guys, what's up? This video might be a little bit more negative leaning, but I'm going to try my best to make y'all smile and laugh at some of the things I'm going to be talking about. But I posted a video a while ago, I believe it was my previous upload, where I talked about things I was not going to do or purchase in 2024. And one of those things was purchasing a Birkin or Kelly. And in that video, I included a rant about one of my worst shopping experiences at Hermes, and a lot of people responded to that story. I didn't expect that. And someone asked, do you have more stories like this? And I was like, oh yeah, I have a bunch. I have a handful. If there's one thing about Hermes and myself, it's that we don't get along. I don't know. We're like, is it water and oil, vinegar and something? I have no clue. We just don't mesh. And that's perfectly fine, because something that I continuously and constantly say on my channel is that I'm not checking for Hermes and Hermes is not checking for me, and that's totally fine. And so I'm not trying to bash the brand too much, but these are things that have happened to me on multiple occasions in multiple different countries, at multiple different stores, on multiple different continents. And so take what I'm saying with a grain of humor and a grain of salt. But aside from that, let's get right into the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let me know down below in the comment section which one of these stories do you think is the craziest. And so the first two I think that I've talked about on my channel. The first one was when I went into the store and they made me wait outside, which was also, no one in the store. And there were so many tiny details that I did not explain the first time I went over this story, and I probably won't do it as well. But there were just so many tiny things that escalated the situation that did not need to happen. But I went in there looking for, I don't know if I went in for a Click H bracelet, but I went in for a lot of different things. But the Click H bracelet was also on the list. So they stuck me over to the Click H bracelet, did not, tell me what the sales associate's name was going to be. They did not give me a time. They just said, stand over there. And when I stood over there looking at the bracelet, the guy came and he's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, this bracelet. And he said, oh, this one? And I said, no. And I think I pointed to like the pink one or something. And I said, that one. And I poked the glass, and he like wiped my hand away and said, please don't touch the glass. And I was like, ugh. So then after I'm looking at it, a woman, I guess that was a VIP customer, she came in and he just turned around and left me and disappeared. And we were probably standing there for a good 10-ish minutes, and we were just having a conversation, me and my partner, and he just never came back. I wanted to go look at shoes, I wanted to go look at other things, and he just never came back. He saw me, looked at me, and just like turned around 180'd and went somewhere else to help another customer. So then I went to the front where the lady, the hostess, was standing. She looked at me and she was like, what do you want? And I was like, here's this bracelet. And she's looking around like, well, where's your sales associate? Because you should wait to give it back to him. And I was like, he disappeared. Like, I've been standing over there. I have other things that I want to look at. And she's like, okay, well, bye. Like, not even let me get you another sales associate to look at the other things. Nothing like that. Just, okay, thanks for the bracelet. Bye, girl. The next thing that happened was when I went a few weeks ago to Hermes, and I was looking for a pair of shoes. I was looking ghetto. Ghetto, 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 ghetto. That was also like the most recent and probably one of the worst out of all these lists of things. The next one that I had was, this was a few years ago. So I get to the front of the line and the lady's like, you cannot come in. Straight to my face, you cannot go in. And it was in another country, so I thought she meant I could not go in now. And she's like, you need to stand over here. So I just stood to the side, and I was standing there for a good, I would say 3 to 5 minutes. And she didn't give me any explanation as to why I was standing there. She did not tell me, hey, someone's going to come in a few minutes, or can I have your name, your phone number, anything like that. Just standing there. Then this woman, she looked really pretty. I do have to say, she had a cute little Birkin with her, and she walked up and they let her in. So I'm sitting there looking at the lady and the security guard, and she's like, you still have to wait. And I was like, well, you just let them in. Is the wait for everybody, or is it just for me? And she's like, just for you. And at this time I was young. I want to say I was in my mid early 20s-ish, and I didn't know too much about Hermes, but I did know that I wanted to go into the store and experience it. And even if I would have purchased a perfume, it's still better than nothing, I guess. I didn't go in there with the intention to spend thousands of dollars, but maybe I could find something small. I literally just stood there for 15 minutes and I said, well, I guess I'm gonna go. And the lady was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So the next incident that happened at Hermes is probably my favorite on this list. It's probably the funniest in my opinion. Some people might not find it funny and that's totally fine, but I went into Hermes looking for a Kelly belt. Now, if you know Hermes, you know this belt is so hard to find. And I was just looking for any color, any, combination. I will take anything at this point because I really like this belt. I think it's beautiful. I think it's an awesome staple piece. I think it can be combined with many different outfits and pieces, and I know that it's amazing. And so everyone's probably thinking that's watching this and knows Hermes. You went looking for a Kelly belt with like no shopping history or barely any shopping history. You went in there probably looking like a hot mess with your Lululemon leggings and your Align tank top and probably a big old frumpy sweater with some beat up sneakers into Hermes asking for a Kelly belt. What is wrong with you, girl? I know, but like I said, this is just how I am, and this is who I am as a person and a consumer. I went in there asking, and the woman was like, we don't have that belt. That belt is so popular, and we can't get it for you. And I was expecting this, and I was like, oh, okay, that's no big deal. Is there any way to like pre-order it, or if I just buy it now and it comes in like 6 months, then I can have it? I'm not really concerned about waiting. I just really like the belt. I think it's a staple piece. I think it's timeless. And the lady is literally looking at me up and down, like body looking at me, and she was like, it's not going to fit you. And I said, well, have you ever tried it on? And she was like, yes, I have. I said, well, if it fits you, it's most definitely going to fit me. And she just looked at me and I looked at her and I was like, the last story, bad experience that I've had at Hermes is also pretty funny and minimal in my opinion, but I one time went there and I was trying to purchase a lot of things, and this was probably the most Karen that I've been. I know there's people probably watching this and your name is Karen. I'm sorry. But I went in there looking for, there was a sweater I wanted, there were shoes that I wanted, and I think I was still at this point looking for that damn ring. So everything I was looking for was a couple $1,000s. I was not in there to just buy a little scarf, a little twilly, a little, what else, like perfume, costume jewelry. And I sat down and it was my sales associate. She was relatively kind, but very fake, superficial, and no big deal. So I'm sitting there, she brought me, it was a coffee. It was like a little tiny coffee for me to drink while I was trying on shoes. She disappeared out of nowhere, and a guy that was a sales associate as well, he came over to me. He was looking at me trying on stuff, like literally sitting down watching me try on stuff. And he didn't say anything to me, and he got up and he was like, are you gonna buy those? And I was like, what a weird question to ask. And I was like, probably not, because they don't fit my feet. He was like, oh, are you not like trying to buy any of the stuff that you're looking at? And this sort of rubbed me the wrong way, because I was like, what are you talking about? Any of the stuff that I have or that I've been trying on? Because I tried on the sweater. I was going to get the sweater. I think I tried on a ring at that point too that I said I was going to get. And then I was trying on these shoes as like the last thing, and I didn't like them. And so the lady was gone, still doing something, don't know where she went. This man, what is it called? Accosting me. He was annoying me to no end. He then gets up after I tell him, basically, it's none of his concern. He takes my little coffee that this girl gets me and takes it away, y'all. And so then the other sales associate comes out and she was like, well, how are the shoes doing? Blah, 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 blah. Do you want them? I'm like, no, I really don't want them. I said, well, who was the sales associate that just took my coffee? And she was like, oh, he didn't take it on purpose. There was just probably no coffee left. And I was like, I know that there was coffee left. And she was like, no, He wouldn't take your full coffee cup. It was a full coffee cup, you guys, literally full coffee, because it was too hot for me to drink. So I was letting it sit there and cool down. And he took it away after I said I wasn't going to buy the shoes. It was bizarre. It was weird. I don't know how or why it happened, but it did. And she was like, I just don't think that you understand how it works here. And I was like, well, you know, this was after the incident with, I think the waiting in line, and then what else happened after that. It was another one of these stories. And so this was in between, you know, the middle of my experience at Hermes. And this wasn't at a store that was near to my home. This was just somewhere that I went in looking for things, and they had actually a decent amount of stock. And so I said, well, you know what? I just don't think that this is going to work for me. And I was actually very proud of myself because I got up and I left. And for me, at the end of the day, my sanity is worth more than trying to purchase something from Hermes. I know a lot of people have positive experiences at Hermes. I think, like I stated, that's why I keep going and trying out different stores, because it cannot be that so many people are purchasing items and having amazing experiences at this brand, but I can't seem to have like a fairly decent experience. And the thing is, I've been to a bunch of luxury and designer stores, and I've never had something, you know, how do you say, habitual happen to me in such a negative way. You know, bad things have happened to me at Louis Vuitton, but Old Faithful will always come through at the end. You know, I know that there's always going to be a sales associate that will do their job and they'll do it well. At Hermes, I cannot say that. Like, I have my issues with certain brands, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep shopping there because it's consistently been good for me. And I feel like the pros outweigh the cons for me personally. But Hermes, I don't have that feeling at all. It's just negative, 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 negative for me. Everyone gets so mad because they're like, Hermes is amazing and I shop there all the time. This never happened to me, blah, 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 blah. But for me, it does. And so I don't know what it is. I try to go in being kind. I try to go in being myself. And then I think to myself, maybe they don't like how you are yourself, so maybe you need to be fake. But then if I go in being fake, I don't like that exchange. And then I most likely don't like the person that I'm speaking to because they only like the non-real me. And I don't want to give someone money, if that makes sense, that doesn't like the authentic version of myself. It's just shopping, but it's also a lot of money. But my camera died, you guys, and I don't want to go any longer on my rant. So thank you so much for watching, y'all. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all in my next upload. Bye.